Hello, I'm Jonathan from Shooting Stuff. Jonathan's journey continues into the world of reloading high volumes of precision ammunition on a progressive reloading system. It's time to seat a new primer and to hold the case securely in place using the resizing die. Setting up the sizing die is probably one of the more important parts of the process. So I'm going to do that first without any primers in the system. And after having a properly sized case, we'll come back and check that the primer seats correctly. Before sizing rifle cases, it's important to first lubricate them, and the most convenient way is with Shooting Stuff's Smooth Glide Case Lube. A quick shake is all it takes. To ensure adequate coverage, I found it most convenient to stand the cases up in a loading tray when I'm doing rifle calibers. Pistol cases will just be flat in the box, but I found that it's important to get rifle cases lubricated all the way around, and this is the most consistent way. I also take care to spray some of the lube down into the case so that the inside of the neck is also lubricated for when we put it through the M die and expand the neck to the correct neck tension and for the bullet seating. While the lube on the sample case is flashing off the alcohol, it's time to install the sizing die. The 6.5 Creedmoor sizing die in the Lyman Products series has a spring-loaded decapping assembly, and we won't be using that in this application. If we use this die on station 1 to decap and resize, then we would leave the decapping system in place. The Lyman Pro dies have a full-length carbide sizing insert that makes them fairly unique. Dylan is the only one else that I know that does that. Dylan's limited to semi-auto calibers, and there's a slightly greater variety available from the Lyman Pro dies. The starting point is to screw this down until it touches the shell plate when the handle has been lowered. With the die in its first position, I always want to check the headspace as it came out of my rifle. This is Ali Wilson's case gauge for the Creedmoor calibers and a case gauge depth micrometer. With this, I can see that this particular case has a reading of 0.102 thousandths of an inch, where 0.1 is the reference plane, so slightly longer than the reference plane. I want to bump the shoulder back about 2 thousandths of an inch. The Mark 7 has got plenty of leverage, and sometimes you need it. Especially when everything is new. Dis nie reg nie. Talk to a friend quickly. Jonathan's journey sounded like a cool name when we coined the phrase. Little did I know that the journey part would come back to haunt me. Reloading is all about the experience, the journey, and the learning that goes along with it. I've been doing it for over 30 years, and I have to say that I'm always learning. You never stop in this game. So this system brought another learning curve earlier on when we saw different sized flash holes require different solutions, and we had something in the back pocket to solve that problem. On the sizing die, we have an entirely different problem because the Lyman Pro die set sizes my cases too much. The dies are very tight, match grade dies, and some of my brass out of my rifle, the dies kind of destroy. A different brand of brass, Hornady, is not destroyed. It works in those dies. I don't yet know why, what the difference is, if it's the composition of the brass or whatever it is. Both brass was fired, and the obviously a slightly different metallurgy or treatment or whatever, but the brass is fired, it's cleaned, it's annealed, and it's properly lubed. We saw using the carbide dies that a huge amount of force was required. I nearly pulled the freestanding bench over. I tried 2 different carbide dies and they were pretty much the same. Putting the same Lapua brass fired in a different rifle that measures slightly smaller after firing into the Lyman dies, same issue. When I used Hornady brass fired out of my rifle, out of the Victrix rifle, it sized no issue at all. Super easy to go through the sizing process. S&B brass, a third brand, was somewhere in between. It'll work. So, reloading brings us problems, and our challenge is to solve those problems. So, the first attempt was a different sizing die in the Lyman Pro die series, but they're made pretty much the same and they causing the same issue. In true Boy Scout or engineering tradition, I always keep something in my back pocket, and we've always got a different sizing die. Whether you look at a full-length bushing die like this one from Ali Wilson, or the secret stash in the cupboard, in this case a steel full-length resizing die from Reading, or whatever your favorite brand is going to be, all standard dies fit onto all modern machines. I've been using the Ali Wilson bushing die on my single stage system to do some load development, and I know that works well. So I'm going to try this Reading Master Hunter die set, full-length sizing die with a micrometer adjustable seater. And for now we're going to skip the bullet feeder, so just this die is going to be enough on this leg of the journey. We will come back once I've solved the problem and better understand the root cause of the sizing die issue and the different brass. Once I understand that, we'll come back and try and use the Lyman Pro dies on the Lapua brass again, or we'll come back and use it on a batch of Hornady brass that I'm busy accumulating and see how they perform with that one on a separate leg of this journey. But right now, we'll get back to the loading and we'll install the Reading die set on the system just so we can continue the journey for now.